Hi, and welcome back to this video. We are setting up a lab with Centrify Server Suite 2016, and we're testing the step-up authentication known by Centrify as MFA for servers. In the previous video, we talked about the requirements. So we needed at least one Linux machine with Centrify 5.3. We needed to upgrade our consoles, and we needed to get an identity service tenant. So when you get your tenant, typically you're going to get something like this, log in now. This is going to give you a one-time chance to log in. And here, I'm going to set up a password. This account is basically kind of like your root account um, in Amazon.com. So this is the main account that is as a sysadmin in the console. There's several things that happen. You typically are placed in Cloud Manager, and there's a nice wizard that will walk you through all the steps. But since we're in our testing, we're going to limit this to MFA. We're not going to add anything special. I'm going to go ahead and skip the wizard, right? And I'm going to basically configure the minimum steps for us to be able to configure MFA, right? So, if we understand how our MFA works, the first thing we need is a cloud connector. So the quickest way to install a cloud connector is to go by settings, right? And we're going to go to the cloud connectors tab. This is going to notice that it's completely empty. We're going to add a cloud connector and we're going to download. So this is going to give me the bits for the cloud connector. While that downloads, we're going to create what is called an authentication profile, right? So we need to be able to configure the server suite authentication tab with an authentication profile. So this goes back to our planning. So my planning is to allow users, when they want to log in, several options. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new profile. So this is going to be my server access profile. And in here, because I would have challenged the user already to put in the password, I'm not interested in a password. I'm going to allow only, in this case, mobile authenticator, a phone call, and an SMS. This means that the user can either have a registered device with a Centrify Identity Service, a phone call. That means that the user needs to have at least a telephone number in their Active Directory attributes. And an SMS means that they need to have their mobile number. So, I'm not going to add an additional challenge. I have the ability to do that. So I'm going to press OK. And for privilege elevation, we have a different profile. So it's very likely already that the user will have access to the system at this point. So this is when they run DZDo to elevate. So this is going to be, and my challenge is going to be in this case, I'm going to prompt for the mobile authenticator phone call, and just to limit that to that. So notice that you can combine and have different gates. So I have an authentication profile set up. Now I can go back and let's take a look at the bits for the cloud management suite. This is the cloud connector. This is very simple, but setting up a cloud connector is like launching a rocket, right? So you need an authorized AD user that can authorize the cloud connector to be able to read attributes from AD, and you need a privileged user on the cloud connector side. I already have that information from my email, so I'm just going to go ahead and complete the setup right here. So in my case, I'm just going to do the bare minimum. I don't need any ADOC console extension. I don't need any group policy extension. All I need is the cloud connector. So I'm going to do next. This is going to install the cloud connector. And I'm going to press finish. So once the cloud connector setup is installed, with your cache user is going to run the wizard. So the wizard is going to ask me for my admin username. So here's my test admin username that only for this particular instance here. So here it is. I got to put in my password. And I'm hoping I didn't forget it. And So now I don't need any of all these things, so I don't need to activate the property pages in AD. And notice that it's asking what is the domain that you're going to monitor. You could be testing in a multi-forest domain, but because this is a lab, you want to limit only to the place that you're going to be testing, okay? So notice that it needs access to be able to read the deleted objects container. We're going to say yes. Here, this is going to do communications and certificate testing. So the way Cloud Connector works, the Cloud Connector will actually have a mutual authenticated or a pre-created trust relationship with the cloud service, and it's going to use the unique key for the tenant to encrypt traffic inside the SSL tunnel. One of the benefits of the Cloud Connector is that it doesn't require to be in the EMC. It doesn't have to be publicly facing. It can be actually inside the network through a private, going through even through a proxy server. So this is starting the connector service. One way you can actually see the progress of this is you can go to Cloud Connectors. Notice that my Cloud Connector is actually already there, and notice that it's finished. So in here, this is the Cloud Connector, and this is what we needed to have a conduit to AD. The other steps that we need is the ability for us to create an authorized set of machines. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to authorize machines and how to modify a policy to make sure that it's going to work for the MFA.